Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the new DC Collectibles, the new Batman Adventures, figure number 40, the Riddler. Well, he gets himself a display stand, the same front, side, and three-quarter back turn display stand that we've seen with the other figures. But I have to say, one of the more embarrassing waist clip that I've seen on these figures. It's to the point where some of these stands are so bad, they're almost just unusable. Again, like if they could only incorporate a peg just on the stand itself. I know there's some figures that have gotten loose in the knees, but if they could only incorporate a peg to the stand and not rely on this at all, just have the figures standing on those clips, and that's all you would really need. These, just over the course of time, and I literally he's only been out of the package for a very short period of time. This is completely unusable. Real shame. We'll put that over to the side and let's never speak of it again. Riddler doesn't come with a lot of accessories. He comes with, of course, a cane, a question mark cane, as he really should. And he comes with a series of interchangeable hands. We'll look at those in a second. But before we do that, let's have a look at New Batman Adventures Riddler. Many would say the New Adventures Batman Riddler is probably one of the worst designs, taking something that was done so well with the original Batman animated series Riddler, had a really good design to him, and then kind of stripping him down to give him something more kind of akin to what you would see Frank Gorshin wearing, or perhaps even Jim Carrey kind of sporting from the Batman and Batman Forever movie. So really what we got here is kind of like a very tight, almost onesie, like a spandex onesie that you would see the Riddler sporting here. Mostly just very basic in color. I mean, he's got green from head to toe. That's not 100% true. The toes, or bottom sections of his feet, are purple to match that of his gloves. The question mark on his torso, and of course some purple around his hat there. His face, I'm not sure really what they were kind of going with. It is kind of a combination of Frank Gorshin, slight Jim Carrey design. He's got these really beady eyes, which is faithful to the source material. So, I mean, from a figure standpoint, the figure does look like he does from the series. Sculpt is pretty good, actually, all things considered, and the paint's really clean on this guy. But, I mean, the thing is, how do you mess up on essentially three colors? I mean, if you can count the flesh tone. He is a very clean-looking figure, and surprisingly enough, I dig this design. I don't say 100% would dig it in favor of the animated series Riddler. I kind of think that Riddler is still a much superior looking Riddler, but I actually don't mind this design. The design's not great necessarily in the series, but I think something about the figure looks pretty good transitioning it from the source material. The two, I much prefer the animated series Riddler to the New Adventures Riddler, but I like how it's translated here to the figure. It's nice, streamlined. He's very skinny, very lanky, much thinner than the original design of Riddler. And I kind of like that. He's got a little cuffs on his gloves. These little tops of his gloves stay when you change out the actual hands. All things considered, not a bad looking face. Not a bad looking body. Again, not really much going on for it, but I think I like this one a lot more than I liked the New Adventures Catwoman figure, if we're looking just basically from a figure to figure comparison. So, like I said, he does come with a couple of interchangeable hands. Defaulted to package, when you get him out, he has closed fists. I don't really even know why we have to use closed fists anymore with these figure releases. More times than often, I mean, people will try to gravitate towards displaying him with like accessories in his hands, rather than just having him closed fists. But, you know, he comes with a pair of those. He comes with this weird pair of hands that looks like it should be gripping something. I'll talk about that in a second. And then he comes with a pair of hands suited for holding the cane. So I swapped out one of the hands to the gripping hand that's going to be for holding his cane. The cane sits very loose in his hand. there's actually a good thing that the little ball is on the end, because you can kind of have the Riddler pointing his cane out. But if you just try to have him holding the cane will slide all the way down to the handle. It just doesn't have nearly enough of a grip to hold the cane in place. On the other hand, literally on the other hand, we pop this out, and let's grab one of these hands here. He's got this hand that looks like it should only be pinching something between his finger and his thumb. Now, of course, because he only has the one accessory, somebody always says, it's always accessory. I know I always say accessory, but accessory. Like this hand looks like it should be for something else. But again, like he only has one accessory, that is the cane. So from what I can gather, you can put the handle of the cane in between the finger and the thumb. It's not the most accomplished look because the grip distance is much less than how thick the handle of the cane is. Now, I ended up getting it at one point, but it is a struggle to try to get it in between his fingers. It almost seems like it's such an unnecessary hand because it doesn't really make use of the cane very well at all. You can get it kind of going like that, but again, it's such a very small grip. It's barely holding on to that cane. But I guess if you want to have him kind of holding the cane more so, well, I guess you could turn it obviously the other way around, but it just doesn't work as well, and more favoring, I would probably go with more so something like this rather than this hand right here. Riddler's articulation, he does have a ball joint in the head, hinges on the shoulders, a rotation all the way around on the arms themselves, a hinge on the elbow, which also allows the forearm to rotate as well, rotation in the hand, a hinge back and forth as well. No, basically nothing here. There's nothing going on here. But he does have the forward and back motion on the legs, a split as well, a single hinge on the knee, no rotation there, and he does have a hinge in the foot. I do think this is a better looking figure than the Catwoman. Catwoman and Riddler kind of share something in common, that they're both very minimal in design, just design elements. There's really not a lot going on with either of them. They have one core color that basically represents their collar all the way down to their feet. Riddler gets a little something extra splashed in there with the purple on the, of course, the question mark, the gloves, and the boots. But he does basically have that same sort of coloring dynamic as what the Catwoman does have. I think this is a better figure than the Catwoman. Both are very minimal in design. Even though I don't really like this guy as much design-wise in the show, I think actually the figure translates pretty good. And I like the look of the figure, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Things that they could have worked on, certainly, is the display stands. They've really got to find some way to change this out. This does not work at all. This is just... If you ever like spinners, spinner's the big thing right now. There you go. You got a spinner right there for Riddler. But they really do have to fix something with these. Even just a clip, something, I don't know. But other than that, figure's very minimal on accessories. He only really has the cane and, like I said, a couple of interchangeable hands. But not a bad figure as a whole. You guys can find this guy at your local comic book store. If you can't find a comic book store in your area, www.comicshoplocator.com. That's where you can go, put in your address, and it'll tell you a comic book shop in your vicinity. If you haven't had also a chance to subscribe to this channel, what are you waiting for? Click that little tiny subscribe button down below and you're good to go. And as well, if you don't want to miss a beat when it comes to future videos, you can go to the main channel and there's that little kind of bell thing. Click on that. You can set up your notifications so you'll never miss a new video that's coming to this channel. And if you also like animated series figures and any of the DC Collectibles New Batman Adventures figures, well, there's a playlist there for you as well you can check out for your viewing pleasure. See you guys next time.